is a very important headline here, and Donald Tusk forcibly takes control of public broadcasters in Poland. This is making headlines, and this is very important. Poland's new pro-European Union government under Donald Tusk has seized control of public broadcasters in the country, firing the management boards of TVP and Polski Radio and taking the channels off air. The move sparked a sit-in protest by the Conservative Law and Justice Party, the TVP headquarters, which is now occupied by police to prevent any further dissident. So they shut down, and members of Poland's Conservative Party, Law Justice PIS, started a vigil at the headquarters of public television broadcaster TVP on Tuesday evening. The move was in response to the Sejm, the lower house of Poland's parliament, adopting a resolution concerning the restoration of legal order and impartiality in public media and the Polish press agency. So you're going to start to see a lot of these, news media outlets that people have been brainwashed by for the longest time. Depending, you got conservative, you got a heavy conservative, you got right wing, left wing, you got all kinds of stuff, you got lunacy, you got it all. But people aren't going to stand up anymore for this, and people want sanity back. Hey, remember this piece of crap? Bill Gates predicts 2024 will be the year AI completely takes over the world. Would that tie into our prediction 2024 will be the year of government-sanctioned murder? That's what we've been saying here. But 2024 will be the year AI completely takes over the world. Billionaire eugenics Bill Gates has shared his predictions for the year 2024, including how artificial intelligence AI is likely to completely take over the world, and his chilling predictions in a blog post published earlier this week, in which he noted that 2023 was the first time he used artificial intelligence for work and other serious reasons, and not just mess around and create a prodigy song lyrics for my friends. So he is telling you what is going to happen, and this guy is usually wrong 85 to 99% of the time, unless he manufactures the crisis with his own hands, right? If he manufactures the crisis, well, obviously he's going to be right? Okay. And skyrocketing global debt is setting the stage for cataclysmic financial crisis. And we've been talking about this financial cliff, we've been talking about inflation, we've been talking about money crash, we've been talking about money supply here, we've been talking about money velocity, repo markets, financial riots. We've been talking about everything. The world has racked up record levels of debt, and concerns are growing about the global economy's ability to continue in the face of high interest rates. Easy money policies in recent years have provided incentives for borrowing money in hopes of stimulating the economy, led to record levels of borrowing. While this may have been a positive development when interest rates were very low. Remember, they had to lower interest rates, especially in Canada, Australia, and the blue states of America, to allow people to compete with money launderers that were parking their money on our shores through real estate and leaving all these homes empty and creating artificial shortages, making homeowners wealthy on paper overnight. And it's going to come down, and it's going to come down for real. And police warn those hoping to shut down Christmas can't do it on private property. So there's a lot of people, this is out of Canada, of course, and Canada has been trying to cancel Christmas forever. And so any pro-Palestinian demonstration attending the promised shutdown of Christmas planned for this weekend have been warned taking it inside shopping malls could be met with police enforcement. And this is what's happening here. And that's why I never took sides in this garbage, because it's a divide. Oh, he's going to put him 6 feet deep. Oh my goodness. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Well, there it is right there, folks. Wanted to kind of throw that out there. Toronto Police Deputy Chief Lauren Pogu said there will be a significant police presence in response to what has been advertised on social media. And yeah, well, that's what happens when you want to discontinue the European expansion in the West. And now that the infrastructure is built, kick out the Europeans and bring in the voters, right? So, an animalistic predator. 5-time deported illegal alien gets 19 years in prison for raping a woman with special needs. And a lot of this garbage is being poured into the country, just like the Cubans when Castro released all the criminals and threw them all into Miami, if you guys remember. So that's what a lot of countries are doing. They're just emptying out their prisons and bringing in problematic people, right? And out of Canada, death toll, right? Instead of people, I've got 4 reports, cuatro, in the last 2 days of people in their 20s and 30s going to a restaurant and dying, or going to a grocery shopping and dying. What's the other one? Oh, at a bowling alley, sitting down, dying. And another one dying in their sleep. No one's covering those 4 deaths that I was just told about from somebody that lost a roommate and then someone else that lost a brother and someone. Nobody's covering that, but in Canada, they're covering Canadian death toll in cantaloupe salmonella outbreak rises to 7. So, yeah, I think they should be looking at, for someone like myself that just a few people would contact me and I would get 4 people just suddenly die out of nowhere. 4 people that would just suddenly die out of nowhere in their early 20s and 30s. I think there's a lot more happening, but for some reason they're suppressing this, right? And this is kind of important for us here out of Canada. Canadian government rewrites Online News Act Bill C-18 in a way that excludes smaller outlets and reserves most of the funds for legacy media. And that's just how it's going to go down. And they're going to make it impossible for us to get a broadcasting license because it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to get. And then the problem is they're getting bailed out by the government, so they'll just take the money from the bailouts and pay for their license. But a guy like myself can't afford it because I think Mike in the Night is averaging about 25 cents an episode through Rumble. We get about a quarter, 25 cents or 22 cents. I got to check. Roughly 25 cents an episode. So we can't obviously maintain that in Canada, right? And Canadian GDP struggles will get worse despite population boom. Canada is apparently over 40 million people. I highly doubt that because it's barren and empty between cities. But there's 40 million people in Canada, and Canadian GDP fails to advance for the 5th month. So you're seeing detracting economy, retracting economy. It's retracting, and you're starting to see basically that this whole bringing people in isn't going to save the economy because housing on average is just beyond anything anybody could afford, and so on and so on and so on and the whole 9 yards. So it doesn't take much, but we're going to start to see cataclysmic problems in Canada, especially financially. And Canadian government is funding sustainable carbon capture projects because they're financially unavailable. So they're going to be setting up through the UN goals. If you guys remember, we covered this already. Justin Trudeau's government has committed to an unprecedented agreement with Calgary Carbon Capture Company to make decarbonization technologies financially viable. So I don't know what the trees and the plants are going to breathe, but this is becoming pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic, and it's great for science. And I don't know what these people are like. I don't know why they continuously push the agendas front and center. And we already know it's just an absolute nightmare. And that's basically what's happening in some of the news there in North America.